You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. The crew is in the building. My man Jay Moore repping Hillman. How are you, sir?
Doing well, peace, freedom, and reparations for all that deserve it.
That's right.
Shout
right
out
on.
Dwayne Wayne.
Yeah, shout out to Dwayne and Ron, too. Show Ron some love. My man Lonegevity, how are you, sir? Hey, buddy.
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing good, man.
Great.
Nice hoodie.
Thanks.
All right. DJ Jay Diff, what's happening, man?
Salutations. What's going on?
How's everything, brother?
Everything is everything. Shout out to Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, I guess.
And I'm here on time.
Yeah, you definitely here on time. Can't say that about a lot of people these days, but it is good that you are on time and enthusiastic, brother. We appreciate that.
Thank you. You're far too kind.
All right, man. Let's talk about lateness. Please tell me y'all. I got an argument about this stuff.
No. Let's get into it.
I know you about to go off. Did you see Lauryn Hill's speech about people should be grateful that she even shows up to these events and things of that nature? Did y'all peep that? Because she
should be grateful that people are showing up to the events to help her pay these bills.
I thought that, but apparently she sees it the other way around.
Hey, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Because she came on the stage and she's, saying, y'all are saying she's late. She's late a lot. She says, y'all lucky I make it on this stage every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's basically preaching to the crowd saying, y'all lucky I'm out here. And she's talked about God and stuff that she's been going through. So I look at it from this standpoint. If you are a person that's dealing with an illness, or there's something that may alter you being able to show up on time, or you might have to cancel shows here because you're sick or something like that, that's one thing. But if you're just late off GP every time you come to a performance, that ain't it. Like, there's no way to justify that.
Yeah, imagine
Right.
calling your job every day and just being late and then just being like, y'all lucky I even come to some. Hey.
What? Hey, Jay, I know this bothered you when you saw this because you've been open about Miss Hill and her lateness, and I see you shaking your head now, man. What were your thoughts on her speech?
It's always, it's a lack of accountability.
Okay.
That bothers me, because if you have some issue to where, like, you physically have a hard time making it there, like,
that's my point.
There are people who are, sick or crippled or something like that. Then it's one thing, but even they like factor in, I gotta go to the doctor or I gotta make sure I have my medication, and they still find a way to make it on stage.
Thank you.
And don't bring God into your foolishness.
Thank you.
That has nothing to do with why, you're supposed to be on stage at 9:30 and you got there at 11:15 or whenever you decide to make it. And the thing is, in entertainment, especially in hip hop, we expect sometimes people are just gonna be late. There are gonna be things that are shuffled, but like, this is what she is known for: showing up late. Sometimes not even performing. Like, I remember somebody told me, like, they're in the Bay Area sometime, and it was like, oh, Lauryn Hill, this is when she wasn't performing a lot. And she showed up there with like an acoustic guitar and read some poems and started crying. And it was like, if you were really that big of a fan of Lauryn Hill, it wouldn't have bothered you. But I was like, I paid good money for this. Yeah. And the thing is, it's not like she's getting out there, charging $15 a ticket and she's barely taking home anything. Like, Lauryn Hill by herself, it makes as much as $500,000, a performance. You got to understand, especially with her fans at this point, considering she hasn't put out a record in well over 20 years. And those people have taken the ride with her. Like, these are people, who are my age. They got jobs. They got kids. They got to get to soccer practice. They got to get up in the morning, and you are taking those people who still are willing to support you, despite the fact that you haven't produced any art in a long time. I mean, you off here and there, maybe a verse on a Nas record or something.
Which was fire.
No, we talked about
that record was fire.
But at the same time, it's like
late on that too.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, you have to have respect for your audience.
Well, she made a tweet, and this was back prior to this speech, where she said she was dealing with some vocal strain and that she,
Then cancel the show.
Thank you.
Well,
Just can't.
double-edged sword because
You know,
you cancel the show and you don't come, you don't show up. I mean that's her thing though. So that affects people wanting to buy a ticket because it's almost like I'm taking a gamble if she's even going to be here. I remember when she came here. That's the reason why I wasn't excited about going because I didn't know if she's going to show up or not.
Yeah, she was only like an hour or something late.
Only like an hour.
That's modest for her.
Yeah, that's you know, and so like when she showed up on like it got to a point where like the DJ he was trying to hide, and I was like, she's not coming, you know, or else like, and it was a Tuesday night. I was like, at a certain point, I was like, well, I know I got to leave and get to work. I have too many friends who are artists. You know, they don't have the luxury of just being artists.
Right.
You know, they have a 9 to 5. They got something that they got going on. They got to maintain a household.
Yep.
You know, without the luxury of having nannies or cooks or a personal chef or anything like that, you know, and they're able to show up and put on a show, you know, service their audience and not insult them by saying you should be glad I even showed up here at all. That's probably the thing that bothers me.
Yeah, I think that's what bothered me is because
can you imagine if Jay-Z said something like that?
Jay would never
rap.
He would never say nothing like that. I think that's exactly what bothered me about her the whole situation because you can even have physical ailments or mental health or things like that that are keeping you from going out there. But it's all about the delivery and how you're saying it. So I can go out on stage and be like, hey, y'all, I apologize. I be going through certain things that makes it hard for me to come out here some nights. That makes me tardy and I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? You got to thank these people. You even addressed you've been touring, playing the same songs over and over and over. And she went on to blame that on people who didn't come to her for something else.
She said nobody came to her about a follow-up project.
Why would somebody have to come to you for a follow-up project?
I'm sorry, but I don't want to hear excuses about you being upset at people. Those people don't work at that record company anymore.
You're the one that penned that album.
You are
allegedly.
You're Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Where's the next Lauryn Hill?
Where's the next Lauryn? I heard Robert Glasper had some choice words about that album.
Well, he was very upset.
Yeah,
he was very upset.
But
that's probably part of the reason why there isn't a part 2.
It might be. But still, you can't blame that on other people when you had the album of the year. And it's an album of the year that actually held up because, I mean, there's plenty of albums of the year that come and go and you never hear that album again. Her album, the quality of the album has held up since it came out. And that's on you for not being able to come up with something else. I mean, you could have dropped a flop after that. At least give it the whole college try.
And this
this
first one was still going to go. Even after
it was still going to go. And people would have still lined up and waited for you to drop another one.
Yeah.
I mean, because D'Angelo is one of those artists.
Yes.
But he at least gave you, 4 albums now at least? I mean, there was a lot of years in between a few of those albums.
But he did put out at least 3 or 4.
He still put out them albums and he did a versus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A versus that really wasn't a versus, but I mean, he's still out here.
And the thing is, it's like, look, man, once again, it goes back to, you know, all of us have friends who are creatives. And like I said, they don't have the luxury of being able to spend their entire day or a month or a year creating. You know, you were a member of the Fugees, you won all these Grammys, you were able to tour the world, make all this money. Even if you just worked on a song a year, you know, you'd have been able to give us a couple albums by now.
We would have had almost a Jeezy release by now.
Yeah, and so like, you know, I don't have that same. It's hard for me to empathize with somebody who really their only job. I mean, of course, being a mom and all that, and I'm not trying to dismiss that, but you can sit by the water and write songs and know that your bills are going to be paid. You be straight.
Yeah.
You know, we all have friends who are like, man, I'd love to be writing songs right now, but I got to go ahead and make sure the lights stay on. So I got to do this for 8 hours a day. If I have a little bit of time in between taking care of my children and paying attention to my wife and maintaining a household, maybe I'll have 30 minutes or an hour to, you know, maybe get on the beat machine, play my guitar, or write songs. You know, when you have the luxury of creating art at your leisure and you're on here saying you should be lucky that I'm even on this stage at all is a wildly ungrateful thing to say. And honestly, you know, at this point, I'm never going to pay any money to see Lauryn Hill. For, you know, you could give me a ticket to the show and I'm not going.
You going?
I'm gonna go.
Who else is gonna be there?
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go. At least you
somebody
are.
give me one.
I'm
You
gonna
gotta-
be honest.
I'm at a point in my life
I'm
where
gonna
my
go.
time,
I'm going.
my time is just worth so much more than that.
I can dig it.
And I'm not going to see someone who says I should be grateful that they even show. You should be grateful there are still people willing to come see you, and you
Bring
haven't
some
put out.
tomatoes with you.
You haven't. Look.
So
I'm one
if
of
she
those people.
even fix her mouth to say something like that.
Look, I saw those people clapping, and I'd have booed her just like I'd booed. I would boo Ice Spice.
The crowd was gassing her up. Now they was out there. You thought she was in church the way they was
bunch of
clapping every
losers.
time she was talking.
And somebody was trying to stop her. Did you see the
I saw that
lady on stage?
She was trying her best
trying to pull her away. Like, come on now, this ain't the place.
To your point about the people that we know and the creatives, I was just talking to one of the homies this morning. He had just flown out to LA to perform, and he was like, man, I barely got any sleep, man. I was rehearsing. As soon as I got in town, we rehearsed for this, we rehearsed for that. I had to perform at 11 o'clock the following night. We were out there 2 days before, practicing and running through the set and coming up with a set. I didn't even sleep for X amount of hours. They still showed up on time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just common decency. It's courtesy. You know what I'm saying? It's accountability, to your point. Because we always talk about artists don't technically owe us anything, or certain artists have done enough where they can just do whatever. But actually performing and showing up to a show on time, you owe that. You owe that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just a part of it. You should be able to show up.
And I understand, like, if something travel wise,
that
bus
happens.
got stuck in Buffalo because it was, snowing and a plane got stuff like that. I get it.
Yeah.
But like when you just don't show up, like you stay in the hotel too long talking to people or whatever, there's just a lot of dumb reasons why artists feel like they can show up late. And it's like somewhere along the line, as an audience and as ticket buying folks, we got to be like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah. You gotta show up and show out. I remember this was a concert in where was this? Cincinnati, when they do the summer concert, the Jazz Fest or whatever.
Yep.
Usher was probably about an hour late, maybe an hour and a half.
He was a headliner.
He was a headliner. As soon as he hit the stage, though, he got busy. And I think it had something to do with his travel and things of that nature. But it wasn't like I'm about to get out here and show my ass by saying y'all should be happy I'm even here. He got up there and went to work. You know what I'm saying? You see where that's led him, because that's his work ethic. So now he's in Vegas. Now he's performing at the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? He's an artist. So you're supposed to get up there and show your artistry when somebody pays to come see you.
I can respect the artist that's, to Terry's point, if you're late, if you're behind, and you just come out on the stage and like, let's get to it. That's, to me, you're telling me my fault, y'all. Let's go ahead and get busy. That's the way I take it as a consumer.
But
and
you
plus,
can't be you ought to be lucky that I came out.
And
here.
plus, Lauryn Hill's show at this point isn't good enough to where she can get up there and tell people you should be honored that I even showed up here at all.
That's wild.
We're gonna get you a ticket.
No, like I said, I'm not. I'm literally.
You
like,
gonna flip the ticket?
No, I'd sell it to somebody.
Oh, man.
I'm not going.
But you've seen her before, though.
I've seen her before, and that was enough. And like for her, that was kind of attitude, like things like that.
What a prize with her.
Why is anybody enthused about that?
Yeah.
Long, Mike.
Why? He doesn't care.
Look,
He's trying not to say it right now.
She is perpetually disrespecting her fan base that has ridden with her for over 20 years. There's no. She needs to sit down. Is what she needs to do. It's disrespectful to me, and I'm not even a fan.
Right.
Like to have the audacity to say you're lucky. Like people that paid money to go see somebody. It take away the artistry, and who cares what she's going through? I don't care. I don't care what you're going through.
We know long.
Yeah, we do.
But it doesn't matter. No, like I don't. When it becomes a pattern, and yes, sure, but people that are going to buy tickets, yes. Do I think that they should complain that she doesn't show up on time? Nah, because at this point that's what she's going to do.
Yep.
But at the same time, like she is constantly disrespecting her fan base.
Her own fan base.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And like to have the audacity, to what Terry said, to what you said as well, Jay, like to have the audacity to kind of put the onus on the other person, like how dare you?
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
Like sit down. Like, what kind of arrogance is that? Like,
you don't feel like
that is extremely arrogant.
Don't get up. Don't say, I can't do it tonight.
Yeah.
And tell people that in enough time to where they can make other plans.
Or at least have bingo cards at every show that everybody can guess what time she's going to come, and the closest person get something.
And more importantly, do it in a respectable manner where they can get refunds for the tickets if you're not going to show up.
You're wasting. I mean, maybe I'm sensitive to people wasting my time. So it's like, to Jay's point, it's just like, you are like disrespecting people's time. It's not even if they can get their money back, you're wasting time, and that's the one thing that I don't do.
You know, and look, and like I said, of course, on a much smaller level. I just remember I had a few years ago something very tragic to me happen on Wednesday going into Thursday, and then basically I was a mess the whole day, but I was like, it was already promoted that I was going to be somewhere that Thursday night. And the thing is, that probably wasn't the best thing for me. I probably should have been like, hey, I can't make it, guys. I'm sorry. But in my mind, it was like, hey, it was announced I was going to be here. I'm going to do this. You know, I know they're paying me to do it, and then the show must go on.
Yeah.
You know, and so
a similar situation.
Yeah. And so it's like, man, I'm sorry. I look, if people go through things, either tell them you can't do it, don't show up at all, but don't get on stage and say I would never have gotten on stage that night and said, man, I've been going through it. You're lucky that I'm here.
But even if you did, that would be reasonable it's the fact that she's made a career out of this.
Career.
Like,
this is like
if something happened to her and this was the first time, she's like, man, y'all lucky I even showed up. I can at least be like, oh man, she went through some stuff. But the fact that this has been happening consistently for over a decade,
to be 2 decades,
that's what I mean. Like,
to be indignant about
just shut up and sit down. Like, I mean,
have some couth.
Telling you to sit down. But I mean, no, it's arrogance, man.
That ain't right, Lauren. It just ain't right.
I'm a huge Lauryn Hill fan, but this ain't it.
And
this
the people
is not
who clap for what you said, those people
are marks.
Losers. Yeah, I don't know what, nobody, I'm not that big enough of a fan to excuse such poor behavior.
Nah, right is right, man, and wrong is wrong, and she's wrong in this instance.
But if you still want to support her, good for you.
Yeah, go to the show if you want to go, but
yeah, hopefully you don't have anything to do the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you're definitely gonna be there for about 6 to 8 hours.
You're gonna be there for a while. Your feet are gonna hurt.
Take a flask with you.
You know
that'll help.
You know, so that would be the only way. If you gave me a free ticket to Lauryn Hill and I had the day off the next day, then maybe I'd consider it.
Plus a flask.
I mean, well, I'm gonna do what I got to do. Just saying.
It's like Dave Chappelle said, man. Don't tell me how to get to Sesame Street. I wouldn't go if I knew the way.
Well, I was gonna say shout out to Lauryn Hill, but no, she don't deserve that. Do better is what I'm gonna say.
Just do better. That's all it is. Just do better. You have plenty of time to do better.
Think about all the other creatives that go out of their way to make sure that people, get their money's worth. Who honestly, who are you and what have you accomplished to where you can be this arrogant? It'd be one thing.
It doesn't matter who you are or what.
It don't matter.
It doesn't even matter.
Think about Prince didn't do stuff like this.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if anybody has done it in the history of the world. Like this is
just
the
bad
level of arrogance is just it's just bad.
This is bad across the board.
Because at the end of the day, it's not like
if Michael Jackson came out. God rest his soul. If he came out and was like,
he's also
y'all
wrong.
should be lucky I'll be here. He's wild for that.
You cannot be known for that. I mean, I've seen Jay-Z multiple times. I actually bought a ticket to the Jay-Z's Unfinished Business tour with R. Kelly, which was canceled before it made it here. But I've seen him multiple times. That wasn't his mantra or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's not what he built his career off of, just being late and canceling shows. It happened to be with R. Kelly, and R. Kelly was kind of hard to work with at the time, so they had to cancel the tour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it wasn't something that I got this tour coming and I'm canceling it every time. Imagine your artist being known for that.
This is the thing, man.
That's unacceptable, man.
At the end of the day, as an artist, this is for Lauryn Hill, Jay-Z, Nas, whoever. You're not curing cancer.
No.
Yeah.
All right?
Even if you are.
You're not curing. I'm
going to give you a pass on that.
What you do is not so very important in the grand scheme of the world that you should have this kind of entitlement.
It's just the entitlement aspect. I just don't do that.
Yeah.
I just don't do that. I don't care who you are.
It ain't right.
She's coming off 100% arrogant and entitled.
Yeah.
And then she turned it into crocodile tears.
Yeah.
Don't bring Jesus
mentioned a whole bunch of stuff that ain't have nothing to do with you.
I say it all the time in the comments. Go to therapy. I know it sounds like I'm being very angry towards Lauryn Hill, who happens to be a woman who happens to be black, but I would say this to anybody.
Yeah, if you're going through it, man, go to therapy.
Therapy's good. Continue.
Ask Charlamagne.
There are people.
Charlamagne gonna tell you 100 times on his show.
There are people who I know have become better individuals, better parents, better artists, because they've gone to therapy, you know.
Ooh. But she's got to get the money, I guess. I don't know what else she's doing. What else is Lauryn doing?
I mean, she really ain't got to do nothing else.
At this point, yeah.
I mean, if she's making $500,000 a show that she shows up late to, I mean.
Wonder, talk about being in an awkward position as the venue. Have to deal with this constantly and be
they
like,
probably got some kind of insurance.
I was about to say there has to be a clause or
probably
something.
a Lauryn
Like
Hill clause.
if you come in here 6 hours late, fam, we might give you $100 till you go on your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on and get on about it. There's no way I would book her as a venue without some type of clause. There's no way. You're not about to play me and get $500,000.
Sure that's in the contract somewhere.
Has to be. And it's a specific clause for her. And
it might be something that she might have to pay the venue.
Yeah. There's no way you about to scam me for $500,000.
It's like you get your deposit and then like you may not get any more of the money if you show up. Because then once again, a lot of these are union shows. So you have to be considerate of the people who are actually working in these venues because you go into overtime. That eats into their, and then it eats into your band's money. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're going to get yours, but then like what they can pay you, those fees come out of the performers. In a lot of cases, come out of the performers' pay. But then they pass that on to not paying the band. So like this, she's just sorry, Lauryn. What you do is inconsiderate and wrong. That's really all it boils down to.
Hey, Lone said it, man. I don't care who it is. Do right, do better.
Just stop it.
Hey, man, if Jesus was doing this, I would have to have a conversation with him.
Be like, look, man, what you did with the 2 fish and bread was cool, but
stop wasting my time.
Doors were at 7:30.
I know you've been walking on water.
Show's supposed to start at 9.
Man, I know you've been walking on water.
Get here till 11:15. You know what I'm saying? We got you. This is a union show.
If this is the route you want to go, I don't know if I can follow you anymore.
He said, blessing, folks.
He said doors are at 7:30. Hey, yo, maybe this is just it may be a rock thing. It may be a folk or festival thing. But with hip hop, doors never means anything. I never take any. I don't care what the flyer says. I don't care about none of that because I know it's going to be an hour and a half later before anybody hits.
But
the
that's
stage.
standard.
It depends where you go.
Is that standard?
Go to Trees.
Like I said,
everything's on time.
Well, that's
every year.
That's different. Yeah.
You got me there.
But like when I go to a show, but I know that we all know the doors doesn't mean as soon as they open the doors we're gonna start.
We know that, but I'm just saying sometimes you'll see doors open at 7:30, show starts at 9, and it still don't start till 10:30.
Got a little bit of buffer time.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, I'm not saying this is exclusive to Lauryn Hill, but she's the only artist who'll get on stage and say something as crazy as you're lucky.
Hey, if you out here doing what she doing, you whack. So. It's unacceptable.
But hope it gets better for you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Whatever she's going through.
Take a deck of cards and a bowling chair or something next time you go. Y'all play something, spades, get you a table or something, because it's going to be a while.
Look, whatever she's going through to where like she thinks this is acceptable, once again, I hope she is able to work through it and realize, hey, I'm wrong.
Man, she needs to sit down with Oprah.
Sit down with who?
Oprah.
Nah, she'd be late to that too.
But not playing with Oprah time.
Yeah, you don't play with Oprah. You don't play with that kind of.
Yeah, you get to sit down with Oprah.
You got some problems now.
Come on,
you mess around. Don't play. You can play with Oprah.
That's the last person you want to show up late to. Not Oprah, Long. Mm-mm. She'll be there on time for Oprah.
Because all these years she had to fight.
Keep going.
That's it.
Okay.
All right.
Yo, man. And that's not funny. It's not funny.
She ain't gonna take it.
The part is not funny, but he's still.
She ain't gonna have it.
Yo, what's up with you, man? That's a dramatic scene, man.
Hey, man.
Oh, my goodness.
We literally just had this conversation about there's certain parts of movies that shouldn't be funny, but unfortunately are.
Yeah, that's definitely one of them. Yeah, that's. He was going through it, though, man.
All my life, I had to fight.
Color Purple, right?
Good job, Lone. I know you knew. We knew you knew that one.
Crocodile tears involved.
Oh
right?
my God,
we
man.
just set them up for a movie promo for the Christmas season.
Yeah, the criminal version.
I'm not going.
Yeah, that and we was talking about
no, because Lauryn Hill's in it. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
it wouldn't come out on
Christmas. Yeah, it wouldn't come out criminal.
Yeah,
that might come out in August of next year. Lauryn Hill was on.
Yeah, Santa Claus always on time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Saw this on YouTube. Shout out to Westside Gunn.
What'd you see, Michael?
Well, I saw Westside Gunn. He was sitting down on the interview with Rap Radar. Okay. Said something that caught my attention as it relates to how he markets his artists.
You got on a whole purse, huh?
A whole pocketbook. I'm gonna play.
I wonder if he has chicken salad in it.
Yeah. Once again, pocketbook.
He might have some mints and some little strawberry candies.
I want you to
Some
know.
Werthers even.
I want Lone to know.
Uh-huh.
I want you to know that picture,
Uh-huh.
my inbox, I got blown up,
You brought it on yourself.
and people are cheering you on for making that. I want you to know
As
that.
they should.
People want.
Thank you.
I mentioned Discord in the post. People want
all.
access to be able to use that so bad.
Yeah.
But I love that they have to actually get into Discord to use it. We're not giving this out for free. So if you want to troll me, you got to come to join the community,
Yeah, pay
in
to
the
play.
Discord, and then you can use that mug all you want.
Yeah.
But people want to use that so bad. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And people are judging me around America now.
I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
I know you are. You love that, don't you?
Yeah, once again, what'd you say earlier? Do better.
Accountability and do better, man.
Yeah. So that's
Don't lump me in with Lauren, though.
Too late.
What I'm doing is what? Gonna do your boy like that, man.
Yeah, man.
What's worse, Lauren showing up late or me eating chicken salad? Now, y'all be honest. Be real now.
I'm
You
calling the
eating
police
chicken
on
salad
you.
Are you
at
are
a
y'all-
Lauryn Hill concert waiting for her to come
Lauren,
out?
who would you call the police on first? Now, you know me a long time. Lauryn Hill or me? Jay Moore, you shouldn't even have to think about that.
I mean, being late is wrong and disrespectful.
It's wrong.
But you eating chicken salad in a movie theater, I'm sorry. I think I might have to call the police.
Lauren, who you gonna call? What you gonna? Who you gonna
or
call
at least,
the police
an usher. I'd be like, "Hey, dog, get the dude with chicken salad out of here."
on? Wow.
I
Who you gonna call? What you gonna call, Lauren?
definitely did
Ghostbusters.
chicken salad in a movie theater because I'm not even going
Over
to.
Lauryn Hill?
I'm not engaging with Lauren at all.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to that show in the first place.
I'm not putting myself in a
still wanna go
situation
to the movies.
to be disappointed by her. But if I go to a movie theater on my own volition to enjoy something and then somebody decides to eat a chicken salad sandwich in there, then I have a problem with that because you're infringing on my space. Same as if you're going to eat baked beans in there. It's the same thing.
It's not the same. That's not the same. Baked beans will be in a bowl and it's loud. You got a spoon. If I pull a chicken salad sandwich out, y'all not going to even hear
Chicken
it.
salad's going to be like
You're in there eating mayonnaise-based snacks. No.
smelling like eggs.
I'm going to play this Westside Gunn clip, man, because
Yeah, do that.
y'all,
You're going to have to rephrase this. Yeah.
you get me frustrated. So check out what Westside Gunn says as it relates to how he promotes his artists.
Okay.
Underground, a lot of eyes and ears are on you. And like I said, I'm right in that middle. So I know if I curate a project, Drake might listen to it. Travis might listen to it. Tyler might listen to it. Hove might listen to it. Nas might listen to it. Marshall might listen to it. So I do these albums so Hove can hear Rome. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Nas can hear Rome. So Marshall can hear Rome. Feel me?
Drake definitely
Rome
heard.
been out. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, nah, since y'all paying attention to me, let me show you something.
And Drake paid attention.
So what caught me off guard with this is usually what I call the South's approach. We always talk about the South, and you see upcoming artists, you see OGs, you see legends, but they're all in the same video. I think we mentioned this last week. They're always pushing somebody up. For him to say that coming from the East Coast, you just said everybody hates each other in New York. You just said that on the last conversation we were talking about. This really stood out to me from a standpoint of him actually trying to put people in positions the way the South does. Am I tripping? Because that's rare to me.
No.
For the East Coast.
No. I mean, I joke about that just because it just seems like nobody.
No,
wants to.
I'm serious though. I don't see this coming from the
maybe
New
just
York.
because it hasn't happened recently. But
I'm talking about in this era. I don't see it like I see it in the South. This stood out to me when he said that because this is the approach that I've always seen the South take. So for him to just come out and be like, "Yo, I want to put these dudes in positions,"
I take that
so
back.
Drake can hear them and XYZ can hear them.
I was getting ready to. The examples I gave were people who were already hot or had looks on them.
That's what I'm saying.
As opposed to just because you can't say, "Oh well, Nicki did a song with Ice Spice." Well, Ice Spice was already
That's
if not hotter than Nicki at the time. And I was going to think, okay, well, what about when Jay put Beanie Siegel in Memphis on? But it's
That's
like
not the
they already
same.
signed to his label,
Exactly.
and they already had national looks. So
I think this stands out. Now, I don't know if it's something. Maybe I'm missing something, and maybe it's
Who
other-
else besides Rome Streets has he done this for? Armani Caesar?
oh God,
Stove God, people
definitely
on
Stove
his
God.
label? Like, who are we talking about?
Well, I mean, trying to think out. You're talking outside of his
38
brand.
Special.
Anybody?
Spesh would count definitely.
And this is not to diminish what Westside Gunn is doing.
I got you. I'm trying to think who else that he rocks with heavy that he's put in that position.
Who else is in the position that, like, who else can besides Westside Gunn do this?
That's what I was going to say, because when we're talking about somebody from the East Coast, someone that everybody is kind of paying attention to, he's pretty much the only person that can do that. But he's not the only person that's doing it. I mean, even in his own camp,
he's kind of unique.
Benny
though.
the Butcher is doing it with the Black Mafia family. I think
Black Sopranos.
Black Sopranos.
Black Sopranos.
And he's got a dope song with Lil Wayne right now. He constantly is talking about the guys he came up with and trying to put them out. ASAP Mob were doing the same thing in New York, essentially.
I think they were. Yeah, they were. I'm talking about. I guess I'm speaking more about right now. But
there's not really anybody out there that's
in that position
popping or in that position, like Lauren was saying, right now on the East Coast. And then even when we think about regionally and other places down south, you got people that are running record labels like Yo Gotti, like even Rap-A-Lot still, that are still pushing people. I just don't think that it's something that's unheard of for somebody on the East Coast to do it, honestly. I think in his position, what he's saying is he's able to get the Jay-Z's and the Marshall Mathers and the Drakes and things like that to pay attention to who he's putting out. I think because they like him. You know what I'm saying? They know that he's putting out authentic music that people rock to, and he's popular right now. So they trust his judgment on that.
What if I said... First of all, I agree with you. But what if I said Westside Gunn being in the position that he's in, he doesn't necessarily have to throw the lobs that he's throwing? He
absolutely does, though.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Because they're associated with him.
Because of the type of artist that Westside Gunn is as well.
Okay. All right. I'm throwing it out there.
Now, again,
I'm throwing it out there.
I think it's great that he's doing it, but I don't think it's some new thing. I think he's just, to your point, I think he's just highlighting the fact that he's just like putting spotlight on what he's doing. He's like, hey, this is, he's like, maybe he's making an intentional effort to make sure that he's going to do this. Maybe he came to that realization like, oh, yeah, if I do this, these people are going to get that potential look. I mean, as an artist and myself, I've had these same thoughts many times when I put projects together and we feature certain people. It's just like, okay, cool, they're going to get a bit of a look, for this. And I think that's why artists buy features in the first place.
I mean, that's his bag, though, if you think about it. He started out by him. You know what I'm saying? He knew he wasn't the strongest rapper because Benny and Conway both had situations going on. So he couldn't put them out like he wanted to. So he had to kind of carry the flag until they were ready to do it, too. But he always shined the light on those two to, you know what I'm saying, run the banner. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is what he's been on since the beginning.
Yeah. No, props to him. Kudos to him. Yeah. I think it's cool that he's doing it. He's in a unique position to where he's doing it at a high level.
Yeah.
I guess my thing was more pointed towards the regional aspect because I don't hear, and like I said, maybe I'm not paying attention, but I don't hear people up north, if you will, just to openly talk like that. Like they're so open to making sure people get put in positions. But we see it all the time. They don't even have to say it in the South. It's just second nature at this point down there. It always happens down there.
Yeah, I don't really like the regional talk in general like that, but I don't know. Maybe it's a thing.
I mean, I get what y'all saying though, because it's the bag, it's his bag, and he's got people that are associated with him. But it's just refreshing to hear somebody say, "Yo, I'm trying to throw these lobs. I want to make sure that XYZ gets a look because I know I have them. I
kind of think that every artist that is popular gets to that stage where they're trying to hand it off to somebody else. I mean, Eminem did it with D12.
He did.
Nelly did it with the Saint Lunatics.
Kind of.
Well, these are
Jay-Z did it with State Property.
These are their crews, though, too.
Right.
Yeah. But, I mean, when you think about Dr. Dre, that's what his whole career has been built on.
His whole career.
That's true.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, I heard this guy. I think you should hear him, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Master P. I mean, it's anybody that is like in the position to be like the head of the group or the head of the label who got the most shine out of everything. Yeah, they put their people on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now, if Westside Gunn was out here like putting randoms on his records, then it would be something different, I think. But I think
that makes it stand out.
I think he's doing just kind of more of the same, but he's being intentional about it. And I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's great. I don't want to diminish what he's doing at all.
I see where you're coming from. Like if he's just plucking people out the air and just
that's different.
That's
different.
Showed up here in Indianapolis, and when they all came in, it was like, hey, I heard this dude at Treason. I'm gonna put him on a record, and I don't have any paperwork on him. That's different.
That's different. That's where I would be impressed. This is just like, good. Like I think what he's doing is what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So
put your people in position to win.
Absolutely.
I ain't mad at it. I got hype when I saw it because don't see it too often, but I totally get what you guys are saying. It's a part of,
I think it happens all the time.
Being an executive.
I think this is constantly happening, personally.
Yeah.
All right, well.
I'm just saying.
Shout out to him. Either way, that's dope that he's, putting people on. But it just, I don't know about the pocketbook, Terry. I don't know about that. But
yeah, I don't know.
It matched the bills at, though.
Well.
Let's see. Long, can we shout out our good old partners real quick, sir?
Sure.
Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Printfinity is a screen printing shop based in Indianapolis, owned and operated by our own DJ Jay Diff. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member for as little as $3 a month. All details on newoldheads.com.
We're back.
And we don't have popsicles.
Shout out to the partners.
Popsicle.
You all right over there, man?
Doing all right, man. Just thinking about the equations.
No, we don't.
A wild
we
equation.
Are not
minimize time, which is 800 dudes multiplied by mean jerk time divided by 4 at a time.
We are not about to talk about equations.
Putting calculus to work in all the wrong ways.
Maybe it's the right ways.
It is not the right ways. We are
think
not.
of what other applications that could be applied to.
Yeah,
If you think about that in general.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily,
I'm not afraid of them.
Luckily, there's
I don't need them.
Pause.
I mean, hey,
See?
Yeah.
Luckily, just leave that alone. There's no grease board behind you or none of that. So we not
grease
even
board. Huh?
Damn.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? What is a grease board?
You've never heard somebody say a grease board?
I've never heard.
You mean a dry erase board?
I heard somebody, when I was in middle school, I heard somebody say grease board.
I ain't never heard of grease board.
I mean, he also says pocketbook.
I definitely say pocket.
So, I mean, you don't know where this...
Shout out to my... I think it
Get
was
some
my-
grease and you just wipe it off, huh?
Yeah, grease board. I think it was 7th grade.
You heard some random person say it and it
Shout
just
out
stuck
to,
with
one person said it.
Yeah.
It was a teacher, though. It was a
He
teacher.
said they call it that.
It was the
Yeah,
Willie
it's teacher.
Nelson looking guy in 7th grade. Mr. Hatley.
O'Doyle rules.
Wow. Mr. Hatley wrote me up, man.
He wrote me up too.
Yo, he wrote...
He wrote me up for laughing at somebody.
Real quick, I got wrote up in the school
I
where
laughed at something.
my mama was teaching at.
Oh, well.
By the time I was out in the hallway and going to what was it called? ISD, when you get in trouble, in school detention. By the time I got there, the word had already filtered down
Yeah, I bet.
to my mom's class and then I got kicked out of class. It was something stupid like Lauren's talking about.
Embarrassing your mom
So,
at that schoolhouse.
Come on, man.
During passing period, I'm sitting at ISD and my mom walks past the ISD door. Like I'm sitting and I'm looking out the door and she walked by real slow. This is petty. She walked by real slow and looked in there, kept on going. So now in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know what's about to happen when I see my mama. I was very stressed out for the rest of the day. So
And then you can't explain. It's like, no, mom, people are tripping. Like, she
I
work with them
think
every day.
she didn't care though.
She's got to know because Mr. Hatley, he wrote up 8 people at the same time. He just handed them out to random people. Like
Bruh.
somebody fell out of a chair and I just laughed at it. And like, that's all I did. He wrote up our entire table.
That's funny.
He
Yeah.
wrote up the entire, I was like,
This is an industrial arts teacher. So we sitting up on these high tables.
we didn't do anything in that class.
Yeah.
But laugh at people.
Didn't do anything.
You get in
So,
trouble.
but my mom, to her credit and to Lone's point, she did say, well, he tends to, he do that sometime, but she was like, you still probably did something wrong. I know you did. I said,
She get a whooping?
nah, I ain't get no whooping.
She on punishment?
She was on my head though. Yeah, she was.
It was the most random thing because I never got in trouble.
That's what I'm saying,
And it
bro.
was just like, where'd I go? It was just, you handed, I was like,
What do I do?
I guess I'll follow y'all. I don't know.
I have a referral. What is this?
Why am I in detention?
Well, what am I being referred to?
Well, where do we take these?
I'm in detention for 3 days for laughing at somebody who fell out of a chair.
For 3 days, though?
Yeah, I think so.
Damn.
This dude right here was handing them out though. To Lone's point, man, he handed them out.
And he also had the reputation of drinking Jack Daniels and mixing it with his coffee in the morning
In class. Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
That's wild.
But no, you don't get it.
Looking like Willie Nelson.
Well, no, I tell you,
It's crazy you brought that up because my 5th grade teacher literally just passed. I seen him post it like 2 days ago. Shout out to him. But we used to suspect that he would carry a concoction in his thermos because he was always so cool in class.
Yeah.
Every day, didn't matter. I remember one time I got in a fight. He thought it was hilarious. He started calling me Mike Tyson.
That's not what you're supposed to do.
I didn't get in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you supposed to.
I didn't get in trouble, but he was so cool and laid back. We used to be like, man, what is in that thermos? I'm sure it probably was just coffee.
Probably.
But he was just too cool all the time.
Hey, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it was Jack in that coffee cup for this teacher we talking about.
That was the rumor.
What's crazy is
And
like
this is a dude that's operating saws and you know what I'm saying?
He had
like,
missing fingers. That'll tell the story right there.
He looked like Willie Nelson, man.
100%.
It was an entire half of the school year, and we didn't work on anything until like the last week of class.
Really?
You know how like you
made
just,
my name in wood, and that was
like
it.
it was like, all right, so before y'all get out of here for this semester, we're gonna finally do a project.
Yep.
Other than that, we was just kicking it.
Every
that
day.
sounds awesome.
That does sound.
Is that
pretty
one of those
awesome.
classes where like if you failed, you was going
You
wrong?
really got to be trash to fail that class.
Did you get an A's at least for not doing anything?
I got a B for my project.
How?
I'm like, man, like
That ain't even
like
fair.
he didn't like my
Cut your
sculpture.
chip.
Woodwork.
Yeah, my woodwork. Yeah, I didn't have the girth right on the S.
See?
No, I shouldn't have said that shit.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah. Because it'll happen.
Somebody will eat them.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Bring
All
that goddamn crack.
Yeah, man.
Is that what it is?
This
Lone?
crack
Yeah.
is juicy. It's tasty.
Yeah.
All right,
Pause.
man.
Pause.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that clip again. I'm
just
trying to
throwing
get that
pause,
clip
you
out
know.
my head.
That wasn't associated with that clip, though.
Well,
Thank God,
You can
man.
eat 4 at a time if you want. You can-
Why would you say that?
because I think it's hilarious when people get a little weird about like when people get uncomfortable about it, it's just funny.
Yeah.
Let's talk J. Cole, man.
shout out to everybody who watches and listens to the show.
I know, right? Like they gonna love the full episode on this one because my man Lone is out here acting a plum fool. All right, so J. Cole was having. First of all, did y'all see Soulja Boy get mad at J. Cole for no reason?
I
He
saw it.
apologized.
Did he apologize? Good for
Yes.
him if he did.
After he had like multiple spats.
Well, Nicki Minaj pretty much told him he didn't mean nothing by that.
Okay.
He was actually giving you props.
because I
And
saw
he jumped out the window.
I saw the comment, and when he came around, he still was giving him his flowers, his peas at the end. But
Yeah.
I totally understood what he was saying about this is what I was listening to, and he also came back and was like, "Yo, I had to understand that these dudes do this well, and it worked." And I did Yule too.
He literally
You know what I mean?
said, I was being a hater.
"Yeah, he said that."
He didn't say, I hate Soulja Boy. He said, I was being a hater.
But Soulja Boy.
Can we preface this whole segment by? We should probably preface this segment about what we talking about.
Preface.
Well, what I wanted to what I wanted to talk about was something that he said about with the interview with Lil Yachty. It caught my attention, and this relates to how he goes about his features. So, and this blew my mind. He said, and this is in relation to him and why he doesn't pay for features. He doesn't charge people for features.
Talking about Mr. Jermaine.
Mr. Jermaine. So he's like, yo, bro, it's just a bar, bro. Like a lot of my bars be really on point, but it's just a flex. I'm not going to charge an N-word $2,000 a word. I don't even charge N-words for that verse I'm doing. He's like, I'm just inspired to do it. Like I don't charge people to do verses. And the reason I'm using Soulja Boy as an example, because he also, on the other side, said if you want a verse, it's going to cost you $1 million.
Ain't nobody paying Soulja Boy no $1 million for nothing.
It's going to cost you $100K if you want him to go to the club.
You think Kanye paid him $1 million to not use that verse? He was in his feelings about Ye not using that verse, and I'm sure it was whack.
$100K for a show, $1 million for a verse.
Okay.
Right?
Stay off the lean, kids.
So here I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Two-part question here. I'm gonna play devil's advocate on one part, but the first part speaks to J. Cole being who he is. Are you guys shocked that he doesn't charge for verses?
Nah,
Yes.
I'm not.
You are.
Jay-Z don't charge for verses.
Well, you know what? I
mean-
take that back because J. Cole sold enough records, and he is done enough big shows to where he does this out of actual competition. He's one of the people, once again, I don't think J. Cole is rapping to eat, so he has a different mentality. So it doesn't really surprise me.
So initially you were going to say you were surprised?
I had to rethink about where J. Cole is in the overall hip-hop marketplace. And if he actually vibes with an artist and wants to do something with them, then he's not going to charge him. He's going to do it. I mean, of course, there's back-end paperwork that he's going to take care of. But as far as like charging something up front, if he vibes with the artist and actually wants to be on the song, I could very much see him not charging.
He's very much somebody who wants to control his own IP in that aspect. So I think he's just going to do what he wants to do.
Like, I don't think you can throw a bag at him and say, get on Young School Shooter's new song.
Nope, he ain't going to do it.
He's not going to do it, yeah. That's fair. What you think, Terry, in terms of him not charging for the verses? Doesn't shock you either?
Not surprised. Like I said, Jay-Z don't charge either. If he don't like you just ain't gonna hop on your track.
You don't need the money. Like
it's dope that he actually cares about what he jumps on.
Yeah,
so
I think this whole pay for a feature thing is, I don't want to say it's new, but it for the longest time it was just like trading. Like you would trade. You would trade. All right, cool. You want to do a verse on my thing? Cool. I'll do a verse on your thing, and they would swap verses, and that's how you would pay for it. You know,
handle
what I mean?
the paperwork on the back end and just go from there.
You know when this really became an issue?
Because I know Dirk threw a number out a while back. I can't remember what the number was, so I'm not going to misquote it, but it was a decent amount for a feature from Dirk. Go ahead.
Snoop's feature's high, you know.
You know, when this became an issue, I think is when Mace didn't show up for the Cameron video. He's like, okay, I did the verse, but I need this much money to still even show up for the video.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember that.
They didn't speak for a long time just based off of that alone. Yeah. You know, because they're supposed to be people. There is a separate situation because sometimes people will, the record companies, and it may not even been Mace's fault, you know, because sometimes the record companies will sign off on a feature, but then won't sign off on you being in the video because maybe you have a single out at that same time and they don't want to oversaturate and say, oh, well, if we got a single we're trying to push, we don't want so-and-so to be on someone else as a feature because the radio program director might pick between one of the two and it won't be us.
Right.
So there have been situations like that to where you know there has to be certain paperwork to even sign off on something as a single. You know, people have gotten their singles shut down because they have a feature and there's not a priority enough for them to put that out as a single. It's like I said, capitalism.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
No, for sure. Because at the same time, think about it, an artist that, you know, you get your upfront money.
Yeah.
What if you start to realize, oh man, I got to make this money back? Cool, yeah, they got this single allocated, but they know that, you know, all right, if I shoot a video and I can charge them for the video too at the same time, maybe I can get a little bit more of that money back. So there's lots of things at potential play here.
So part two of this.
Okay.
You heard J. Cole say, I'm doing this is because I'm inspired to do it. So that's where he's at. He just obviously he loves being a creative. With Soulja Boy saying his mill and his 100K and all that, does that mean that Soulja Boy is any less inspired just because he's focusing on the bread?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to say people, I'm just saying this is the conversation that I had.
With people.
It's the quality of the product. I mean,
yeah, that was my argument. But the conversation was, it doesn't mean that Soulja Boy is not as inspired to make music. It's just that he want to get his paper.
Well, you're not going to make that $1 million back by paying Soulja Boy for a feature. Ain't nobody checking for Soulja Boy right now.
Inspiration and product are different kind of ideas. Like being inspired to create something versus being inspired to make money are different things. And they come from different.
Absolutely.
They come from different places.
What I'm thinking is that person was trying to draw the parallel to say, well, Soulja Boy is an artist as well. He's just as artist street, if you want to call it. I agree. But as J. Cole is, he just wants his paper also. And I'm I don't know if it works.
You can be
way.
both, but that's not the case here.
That's what I'm saying.
If we take it away from Soulja Boy, like remember, like, you know, people said, you know, Busta was like, I pioneered the feature. And think about how much work he did before his first album came out. He would jump on a little bit of everything. And
True.
He's probably like, let me get $10,000, let me get $5,000 here. Like, for some people, it really is a hustle as far as getting your name on things, getting featured, and getting that upfront money. Because honestly,
he said that
you're not going to get that upfront money from your record company.
He said that.
So let me get it from these other record companies. My feature is a part of your budget, and I don't have to pay any of that money back. You know, whether you get to pay that money back, hey, that's on you. But here I'm gonna really do a fire hook, or I'm gonna do this, and I have a little bit of heat right now. So it might make it into mix show, or maybe even be something that makes it into A or B rotation because I'm on it. And then you can start to increase your price based on that. Once again, if you're still in a position where you're rapping to eat, I'm not mad at you for having a set price for you to jump on something. Right. You know, J. Cole, if he doesn't record anything else, he's gonna be fine. I'm not counting his pockets. I don't know where he's at right now financially, but he doesn't seem like a person who's outliving, his means. He still looks like, he buys his clothes and shoes from Target. Not his shoes. He's one of those dudes who always has nice shoes. But like,
y'all don't shop at the same shoe store.
No, he's not spinning the wheel to get his shoes. But when you see, he just wears like regular sweatsuits, he's not somebody that has to, be iced out, and like he's not trying to keep up with the Joneses.
I know somebody that be mad at J. Cole because he don't be iced out. The same person.
I do.
It's a weird thing to be upset at.
That is very weird. Calls him fake about it too.
That they won't spend the money in the foolish manner in which you would spend it.
Yeah. You might want to look deep inside of yourself.
Long being on the therapy wave. That person might have to sit down and talk to somebody on that one, because I don't understand.
That's wild energy.
That's wild energy to be mad that somebody doesn't dress flashy as an adult.
Why would you care what another man dresses as?
Listen, man.
Lone, that's weird, brother.
And
that's
plus,
weird.
If you've been paying attention at all, he got it in a bank somewhere. He doesn't have to wear it on his ass.
True.
Some of you basically,
that's poverty, man.
Everything you got is what is it, you wearing everything you
poverty.
got.
Shouts to Slade.
Yeah, shout out to Slade. That's poverty.
It's the mindset of that. That $100,000 car gets you from point A to point B is the same way that $5,000 car gets you from point A to point B.
Same way that bicycle does sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like, because you look, I've been driving, and there'll be somebody with the V8 or the V12, and they speed up to get to the same red light that I'll be
same one.
Yeah, so it doesn't, but some people's mentality towards that is just
that's a luxury.
Skewed. It's a luxury, and I'm not begrudging.
I mean, if you can afford it, brother, by all means, I ain't gonna count your pockets. Go do what you do. Go get it.
Because trust me, there are things that I have, and we all have that that we like to spend money on.
True.
That we don't need. We just like it.
Yeah.
True.
So
crack.
Dang. Is that a good? I don't know what type of investment that is.
I don't need all them hockey jerseys.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Different levels of crack.
Yeah, you're right.
So remember, I referenced Jay's interview. We talked about Book of Hov and his interview with was it Gayle King?
Gayle King. Yeah. Yes.
One thing that he mentioned was making meaningful music, and he also mentioned helping people in the community, helping other creatives. But my question would be, because as a fan, I'm biased. I would love to hear another record of him making quote unquote meaningful music, but I don't know what would be more impactful. The Jay that is the executive, the person that can sew back into the culture and create labels and create whatever, or is it the guy that can just put out another album and inspire people that way? What do you think would be more impactful? Which move would be more impactful? Because he talked about address both. He wants to,
certainly not the album.
Not the album at this point?
No, not at this
point.
So at
this point, Jay dropping the album is not going to be as impactful as what he can do as the executive. And
what do we consider impacting whom?
For the album or just in general?
And either.
Okay.
We're talking about impact, so define it.
Impact would be aspiring artists. Impact would be current creatives that are involved in the culture at certain levels. Impact would be, from a business standpoint, people that are aspiring to be a part of hip hop. And then he also mentioned black culture as well. So, you want to say black creatives, then you can say that as well. I think the album would hit, Jay. I think the album would hit. I'm not going to say as impactful, but I think the album would hit at this point because it's been a little bit. And people always want to know what he's talking about.
I think it would, but I'll just be honest. For lack of a better term, the whole idea of grown man rap, people who are speaking from the perspective of people who have lived to a certain place and are comfortable with themselves in the place that they're in. As much as we love Michael, the Killer Mike album, it hasn't, people don't talk about it as much as they should. As much as, I remember, one of the first episodes I came on was the 444 episode.
Yeah.
Where we talked about that album, and I don't think people really, especially after it lost all 8 Grammys it was nominated for, it was like, there are people who just, who don't like that album. It doesn't touch them in the way it would, when Jay was rapping for, he always had that content, but then like when he does an album where he doesn't care if any of the songs go to the club or go to radio, where he's just doing records that are not only personable but meaningful to the culture and people who are of a certain age, just doesn't have the same impact as when he did Hard Knock Life, as far as like how many people were involved in it. And like
I think 444 was. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that. I think there's definitely an avenue and a lane for that type of hip hop.
There's an avenue for it. Definitely.
We all are pretty much products of hip hop that have grown in it. You know what I'm saying? So we're still here and we're still listening. We're actually kind of grabbing for the grown man style hip hop because that's where we're at in life. So we don't want to necessarily hear a Hard Knock Life from Jay-Z because he's not living a hard knock life. I want to hear the introspective, grown Jay-Z that's been through things that can still put you up on game about certain stuff. I mean, that's just like you brought up Michael. You got Fontaine, Little Brother, and them. You got Nas doing the same thing now. I figure anybody that is still out here and able to do hip hop in the purest form and still be talking about something should keep on going.
Oh no, I'm not saying that he shouldn't keep on going. I would love to hear a Jay-Z project. I'm just saying what his impact can be outside of the booth and you know trying to sell me a CD and being on tour. Yeah, I think is much greater as far as like the initiatives he has with prison reform.
That's what I'm looking for.
Where I'm looking for when he talks about. He's had some missteps as far as like his social initiative programs with the NFL. I think the one thing that's really going to dog him, probably, because when they talk about his story is the fact that we're beyond kneeling. And
that's not going anywhere. That's going to always be around.
I mean, and it's fine to have missteps, you know what I'm saying? Because I think what he has done as far as like, you see some of the initiatives the NFL has taken on as far as social justice that honestly that aren't really talked about, that's Jay-Z's impact. So I think outside of selling me a 50-minute CD, the things that he's working on as far as financial empowerment, actually talking to people about, how to, and not just people who are already rich. That's the thing. Like there's only so much you could do for people who are already rich. But when you talk about the actual social initiatives that he's a part of and he can bring light to, I think those are things that he can do every day, or he can talk about those things on a regular basis. For him I'd rather him go to the Breakfast Club or whatever platform and talk about those things as opposed to like, oh, this was my inspiration on track 13 of my new album. Don't get me wrong. I love stuff like that. But I think overall impact, the actual impact that someone like Jay-Z could have is so much greater outside of actual music.
I think he can do both. Because even in that same interview, he spoke on being in a place of being vulnerable and being able to put that on record. And he brought up 444 as that example. He's saying, too, that he's not done with music until he's not either inspired or pretty much just can't do it, doesn't have the love for it. He still has both. So he's like, I'm still out here. So whenever something comes out, it just comes out. But we're not pressing. He's not pressing himself for it. So I kind of respect him for that because he's not just trying to turn out something just so the streets can have it. It's more so when I'm feeling a certain type of way and I got that energy in me, I'm going to give it to you.
And plus he did like an album a year for a long time.
He did.
I lose sight of that sometimes, how much product he put out.
Yeah. So, I mean, and this is when like basically everybody was taking, between 2 and 3 records off, years off between records.
Yeah.
From that, from Reasonable Doubt through probably the Black Album, that was
every year.
Every year.
Yeah. Yep. I like what you highlighted about his outside of music stuff because there's a lot of impact there. Sometimes we don't see it because sometimes it's a lot of his stuff is behind the scenes. He's not pushing a lot of stuff up to the forefront, but he's still getting stuff done. So, but that album definitely would be well received.
Because I would go to it immediately if they said day after Thanksgiving, Jay-Z's putting out an album. I'd be like, okay, I'm staying up to listen, just like I did for Kendrick. Even the people who claim they hate Jay-Z, they have to listen so they can hate constructively. So I mean, it's not. I'm not
even
saying
the Jay-Z haters up at midnight. Huh?
Exactly. So they can tear it apart.
All right. Well, shout out to Hov, man. I don't know what the next play is going to be, but as a hip hop fan and enthusiast, I'll be waiting.
What are your top 5 favorite rappers?
Dylon.
Dylon.
Do you know your top 5 favorite rappers?
No. I can name them, but it's going to change.
Who are your top 5 favorite rappers?
In today's climate?
Right now.
In today's climate?
Right now.
Ice Spice, Glorilla.
No. Quit lying. Right now.
He's lying.
Who's your top 5 favorite rappers right now?
Don't put me on the spot like that.
Right now.
Right now.
Across the board.
3000, Kendrick, Scarface,
5.
Jay-Z.
That's 4.
That's 4?
Personal favorites, not top 5, meaning
No,
like
those are personal
your
favorites.
personal favorites. Like if Ice Spice is on there for you and you love her, that's great.
Okay. Personal favorite.
Personal favorite,
Tupac.
top 5. Tupac, Jay, Scarface, Andre, and Kendrick.
Yep.
Name this quick too. 3 Stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Common.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick.
Mm.
Harry making me look bad because he named his. That's 3 in it. 2 more. Jay and Nas. I'll take that.
Common.
Yep.
Fontaine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Ice Cube.
Yep.
Jay-Z.
Uh-huh.
Heavy D.
I'm not mad at that.
Pretty good. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm waiting on you.
And Ice Ghostface is my.
I forgot.
Ghostface is in my top 5. I'm sorry.
Ghost.
Ice Cube, you gotta be a 6 man on.
I forgot
you gotta
about
be
Ghost.
6 man.
I have 10. Number 1, Tigolo.
Shout out to Tigolo.
Fonte is my personal favorite. 2 is Andre 3000.
Okay.
3 is Royce the 5'9". 4 is Pete Sake.
My man.
5 is Black Thought. 6 is Sean Price.
How you gonna say 5 and then he's really gonna do 10?
He is.
Sean Price. 7 is Kendrick Lamar. 8 is Lupe Fiasco.
Oh.
9 is Odyssey. Odyssey's number 9. And then number 10 was hard because I feel like 10 is a mixture between Slick Rick, Ghostface. No, it's got to be Common because Common's got my favorite hip hop album, so he's got to be up there, right?
Yeah, it has to be somewhere. Do you have a personal favorite? Since we're doing personals, how would you apply it to producers?
I feel like
because I know one.
This always changes, but I would probably say my top favorite.
Yeah, just
with everything would be the cliche. It would probably have to be Jay Dilla. It would just probably have to be. And then 2 would probably be Exile.
I knew he was going to say Exile. I knew you were going to say Exile.
Yeah, those are probably 1 and 2. I wish Exile would put out more records.
I agree.
But yeah, those 2 guys,
You put me on. You made me realize how dope Exile is. I'm talking about outside of Below the Heavens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a monster.
I didn't realize he was that dope.
Yeah,
that dude is a problem.
Not everybody can chop like him. He chops jazz records really well.
Nah, he's a fool.
I'd have to really
it's harder than you think, huh?
Producers a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I think.
A little bit? You can run off some?
Nope.
Okay. Jay Moore, can you run off
I can run off.
I can run them off, but it would change.
Yeah,
it would change.
Fair enough.
But it's not something that I sit with. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Whereas artists, because they're using all kind of different producers, but these artists are still showing out regardless.
Yeah.
True.
On that note,
yeah,
newoldheads.com.
That went on entirely too girth.
Yeah.
For all the education you need this year, make sure you see it, you like it, subscribe, shout out to the chat. We appreciate you if you stuck around. We still love y'all. Sign up for Patreon when you see it. And please, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Peace.